Thank you guys for joining me today. I know a lot of people are really kind of scrambling and getting ready for Thanksgiving tomorrow, traveling, all kinds of craziness going on. So thank you so much for taking a moment of your time to be with me today and learn more about the ABS medical billing franchise. I'd like to make sure that I'm being heard loud and clear. I actually got a comment. Jasleen says I cannot hear anything. So if I am being heard, could you let me know? Could you look at the little Q&A button for Zoom and type in that you can hear me? Maybe let me know where you're from. Let me know your reason for being here. Let me know your, business background. What do you do now? And why are you looking into this particular opportunity? I'd like to know. Just curious. So, Jasleen says it's okay now. Great. Hey, Aaron, thanks for typing that in. Aaron says yes from Tampa, Florida. All right. We've got a lot of people still kind of logging in here. Andrea, Christopher, hey, good to see you. Dawn, McKinley is here. Sanober is here. Aaron says he is in IT management as a VP. Okay, interesting. Well, the software part of this should be easy for you then. And we take care of the other stuff, the marketing to doctors, which we'll talk about here in a moment. So let me see if I can start going through the slides. All right, so we got through this. Obviously, you can hear me now. We got another comment here. Andrea says, hi, Andrea from Virginia. And Jasleen says, I'm from Long Island. I work on computer all day, and I'm interested to get into this business. Great. Well, I know about that because you and I have already talked a little bit, Jasleen, so I remember you. So thanks for joining us. Like I said, maybe I didn't say this. I am Adam Phillips. I'm the CEO of American Business Systems. I've been running this company for several years now. It's a family business, and we are celebrating 30 years in business this coming year in January. We've been doing this since 1994. So I'm going to go into a little bit of the background history of the company for those of you who aren't aware. This is a family business. It was actually founded by my parents in 1994. So that's where we come up with the 30 years. But actually, we've been in this a little bit longer than that. My dad has been kind of working his butt off since he was a kid. Let's just put it that way. He has done every kind of sales job under the sun that you could imagine. Here's a picture of him working at a company called Salad Master, where he would actually go door to door selling waterless cookware. So I don't know if any of you are even familiar with that. The cookware is amazing, and it actually cooks really good food. But that was a tough gig. He would actually have to he would try to schedule dinners where he would go to people's homes and actually cook them a dinner in this cookware and show them how awesome it was. And it was a whole big ordeal. A lot of effort. This other picture here is him working at Apple Computer. He actually worked at Apple Computer for a little while. And he really did not become, truly successful until he started American Business Systems, which he was in his, he was a little bit younger than I was, I think, when they started their billing company, I should say, in the 80s. So this is around the time frame where in the 80s, where my mother actually had started doing medical billing. So they had a different company, a smaller home-based company that they started where they were doing medical billing for some doctors and a durable medical equipment company as well. So this is really funny because when she first started, she was actually using a typewriter to do claim forms. So she would put a paper, what's called a two-part form. Some of you may remember this. This goes way back. It's a two-part form that goes into a typewriter, and you type on the you type on the typewriter, fill out the form, and it would make a copy of it, and then you would tear it off and you would send a copy to the insurance company. And half the time they would say, no, we never saw it. They just as soon as it showed up, they would put it in the shredder, and you couldn't prove otherwise. So that was quite a difficult time for medical billing back then, trying to get those claims paid and done properly. And anyway, so we've been doing this for a long time, and she stuck with it until we started to go electronic. So she saw the transition from analog billing to electronic billing. That sounds funny to say, but yeah. So we've been there through every single transition and evolution of this industry. So we've been doing it for a long time. We know what we're doing. And yes, that's me. No, I don't own that shirt anymore. And that's my little sister there. She's married with her own family now. So we've done some growing up. And here's a little bit more recent picture of us at a training session. We used to do live trainings. We would fly people all over the country to do a training in Dallas, Texas. And luckily, no one has to do that anymore. You can do the training from home with one of our instructors, and it's a lot more convenient, a lot easier to get your training done. All right, so a little bit more about me. I have written a book with one of our partners. We have a retired surgeon that we've partnered with. Her name is Vicki Rackner. If you've seen any of our webinars that we do, she's been on some webinars. We've interviewed her before. But she is very prolific, has written several different books, and she co-authored this book with me, 9 Ways Doctors Let Money Slip Through Their Fingers. And this is simply a book that you can provide to office managers and doctors and people in the industry to educate them on different ways that doctors can save money. And that's what this is all about. We're about offering them all kinds of different services so that they can save money in different ways. That's what we do. But that's a tool that you can use to build your credibility. I'm going to talk about some other ones that are even more effective here in a moment. If we have any questions at all, please do type those into the comments. Everybody is typing away, so thank you for doing that. I'm going to dismiss some of these questions here. Let's see, what else do we have? We got one more comment from Dawn. Dawn says, I'm a medical biller and I'm from Houston, Texas. Oh, great. Glad to have you here, Dawn. I'm assuming that you're maybe working as a biller for another company or a doctor or something like that, and you're thinking about starting your own business. That's exactly what we do. We help people just like you launch their own business offering these services. And, the neat thing is you get to do the same work you're doing now, but you get to make way more money. So hopefully that sounds good. All right, let's see. So let me keep going here. And we're going to click on that one. Okay. So I'm also an author with, I'm an author with the Billing and Coding magazine. I've written some articles for that publication. It's a publication that's very, very useful for people that are in the industry to kind of stay on top of everything that's going on. So it's called BC Advantage. It stands for Billing and Coding. So a lot of really good industry information in that magazine, that publication. I'm also a co-founder of the Medical Revenue Management Association of America, MRMA.org. You can check that website out. So that is what we did was we came up with a certifying organization to actually certify you when you finish our training. So when you finish our training, you will become certified through MRMA, and you can point people, doctors, whoever, back to this site to show them that you did get certifications through a training program, and they don't necessarily have to know that you went through the ABS program. So that's why we did it that way. And there's a picture of that certificate right there. So when you go through our training, it's 10 90-minute modules, like I said, that are done online with one of our instructors. So that could take you maybe 2 or 3 weeks to finish those trainings, but then you become a certified medical revenue manager. So you receive that certificate right there. All of our owners will put the CMRM, after their name on their business cards, letterhead, on their website, all that good stuff. So that's what that's there for. Let's see, we've got some questions here. Christopher, is this ABS franchise able to be implemented in other countries apart from the United States? Good question. So Christopher, this system is meant for US-based doctors. So it does have to be doctors and companies that are, filing claims using the US healthcare system, but the work itself can be done anywhere in the world. And we have a totally cloud-based platform for doing the work that I'm going to talk about here in a moment. And anywhere in the world with internet, you can do the work, but it does have to be US-based doctors. So good question. And Don did comment, yes, I'm thinking about starting my own business. Okay, cool. Well, you're in the right place. Okay, so let's keep going here. So this is a picture of our technology. I'm going to get into this a little bit more, but like I just mentioned to Christopher, it is totally cloud-based, and it really truly runs on any internet device, basically. So any PC computer, any Mac computer, any smartphone, tablets, iOS devices, Android, Windows, Mac OS, you name it. So it makes it very easy for you and very easy for your clients to access and use the system. Your doctor clients that you have, no one has to get any new hardware of any kind. No one has to even download or install any software. All they're doing is logging in securely through a browser, and it's 100% HIPAA compliant with every type of governmental security requirement and all that secure stuff. We basically go over and beyond what is required for HIPAA compliancy and security, much more than even banks do for online banking. So it's very, very secure now. So doctors are totally comfortable with cloud-based. Way back when we first got started and started, evolving into cloud-based platforms, it was a little bit, that was like 12, 15 years ago now. It was a little bit scary. Like, I don't know about this cloud stuff. What, it just goes up and floats up into the air. Like, what does that even mean? But luckily everybody's very familiar with cloud now, and it's much, much more secure than it was when it first got started. So this is a picture of all the different services that you can offer. If you guys were joining this webinar thinking that this was just going to be about medical billing, I got some news for you. You actually have many, many different services and solutions available to you when you become an ABS business owner. So medical billing, helping them with their insurance claims, that's probably going to be your biggest service, your biggest moneymaker service for you. But there's a lot of other services that help in different ways, different areas of what we call the revenue cycle. So we're going to talk about revenue cycle management and what that means here in just a moment as well. We also have a medical revenue management research guide. It's kind of a mouthful there. But if you have not seen that, get back with the person that invited you to this webinar. We can send you a link to this. It's about 60 something pages long. It goes into a lot more detail on the business model. So it'll cover more than what we're covering today. So if you want to check that out, get more detail on all the different services, how they work, what kind of money you can make on all the different services, you definitely want to check out that research guide. Okay, so we get a lot of questions all the time. I get a ton of questions from people. I've been doing this for long time now. And we basically, what I've done is I've compiled some of the top questions that I get over and over and over. So I'm going to just start reading off the questions that we get here. And if this sparks anything in you and you have additional questions or follow-up questions to what I'm reading here, please type it in here into the comment box, and I'll answer those as we go. So one of the top questions I get is, how is ABS different from a traditional franchise? So we use the term franchise in this webinar title. You may have found us on, one of those franchise websites like FranchiseGator or, franchiseopportunities.com or something like that. But what we do is we kind of sit in a different little section of those sites for a very good reason. So we give you the same type of training and support as a franchise would, but there are some very big, important key differences. So the two big ones are, there are no territories of any kind. So you can have clients in any part of the United States. Like I mentioned earlier to Christopher, you can have clients anywhere in the country. So there are no limitations. And actually what happens quite often is, you'll go through our training, and of course, you're going to start your marketing locally in your neighborhood, your area. But once you sign up a couple of doctors in your neighborhood, if you provide good customer service to those doctors, they love the software, the technology that we have, all the platforms, they love that, very highly rated. But if you're combining that with good customer service and doing a good job, they're going to tell other doctors about what you're doing, because finding a good billing company is actually kind of hard to come by, one that actually knows what they're doing and doing it well. So you're going to start getting referrals from your existing clients, and they can be doctors anywhere in the United States. Like I said, some of our owners have started, doing business and signing up, referrals from their existing clients. And some of our owners, the bulk of their client base is not even in their own state, from different referrals that they got. And they have a ton of clients that they've never even met face to face that they're doing business with. So this is one of the great benefits of this model is, the cloud-based system lets you set up shop anywhere with internet, and it lets you have clients anywhere in the country. So it's pretty cool. I mean, you really, really do have a huge market. So another question we get is, why is medical billing the best home business to start in today's economy? Well, I know there's a lot of crazy stuff going on right now. It's just, wow. I try to avoid the news. It's just one thing after another, it seems like. But what's happening for this industry is continued growth. It's just growing year after year after year. No matter who's president, no matter what's going on out there, there's always money being spent in healthcare. And for you to come in and set up shop and get a teeny tiny little sliver of that pie is very doable, as you'll see. So a couple of things about that. So first of all, the RCM market is set to reach $285 billion by the year 2028. That's money spent in the RCM market. What is RCM? Well, I mentioned it's the revenue cycle management market. Okay. What I was talking about earlier is, you are going to be helping doctors with their billing. It's called medical billing. That's a service. But there are a ton of people out there that are also trying to offer medical billing as a service. If you've done any kind of research on this opportunity, all you have to do is Google, medical billing services in your area, type your city or whatever, and you're going to find a ton of results. But as you start clicking around on those results, you're going to find a couple of things. You're going to see that it's a crummy looking website with maybe phone numbers that don't work anymore. It's someone who went through some kind of billing course online, and they have no idea how to market and get clients, and they went out of business. Or you may find a well-established billing company that's been around for a while, but they're going after the huge accounts. They're going after the hospitals and giant group practices and stuff like that, where your target market is the small to medium-sized private practices, at least in the beginning. So you're going to be going after 10 doctors in a group or less is where, kind of our sweet spot for where we market. But my point is, revenue cycle management is what you're going to be able to offer. And that really sets you apart from all the other little mom and pop billing companies, because when you say that word, revenue cycle management, that lets doctors know that you have a lot of different solutions at your disposal, and you're going to take a much broader look at a doctor's practice and be able to offer them, different things outside of just helping them with the billing, if that makes sense. So if that needs some clarification, let me know in the comments there. You can earn $25,000 to $35,000 a year with one client, one doctor. Yes, that's correct. Now, of course, there are lots of variables. It depends on the type of specialty that you're working with, how many patients that doctor sees, how many claims that doctor files. Of course, you're making a percentage of what the doctor earns. Right now, our owners are in the range of around 5 to 9% is what they're charging a doctor for doing the billing work. That's not including all the other ancillary services, but just the billing service. So based on roughly 6%, if you signed up one general practice doctor, you'd be looking to make about $25,000 to $35,000 a year in gross revenue. It can be very lucrative, depending on the types of doctors that you're signing up. We actually have some income calculators on our website. So after this webinar, if you want to go play around with the numbers, you can go to our website, absystems.com, and you can type in, how many doctors would it take to get to 100,000 a year, 200,000 a year, 300,000 a year? So you can play around with those numbers. It's kind of interesting to see. And of course, unlimited growth potential. What does that mean? Well, like I mentioned, there's no territories of any kind, for starters. And secondly, we don't dictate how many clients you can have. You're only somewhat limited by your processing power, in other words, how much time it takes to do the work. And I've got some really good news for you on that front as well. So if you want to do all the work yourself, which I would say maybe half of our owners do that, and half of our owners hire other people to do the work. But the bottom line is it's about 2 minutes to process one medical claim. So if you are doing the work and you're working for, let's say, a single general practice doctor, those doctors see about 30 patients a day, roughly, somewhere around there. So at 2 minutes per claim, you're looking at about an hour of work for that one doctor. So you're working 1 hour a day and earning somewhere between 25 and 35,000 a year. So, if you had, 6 or 7 doctors, you could handle that yourself. One person could probably handle that much work, and you'd be at 6 figures at that point. So you can see that it can grow very quickly. Now, the good news that I was talking about when I said I've got some additional good news is we actually have resources for you for doing the work. So, a lot of our owners, they hire friends, family members. A lot of people want to really help their community in that way, their neighborhood, and start hiring locally and, helping it kind of grow with friends and neighbors and family and stuff like that. But if you don't have anyone in mind, that can do that work for you, we actually have a partnership with a new company that we just launched. They're called Global Healthcare Resources, and they actually offer full-time employees for our owners at a very, very reasonable rate. So if you wanted to hire if someone else to do the work for you, and you had a couple, 3 or 4 clients, and you wanted somebody to help you, we can definitely set that up for you, no problem. So if you want more information on that, just reach out to one of us and we can help you out with that. So sure. What makes ABS one of the best business opportunities available? Well, it's all the stuff that you get from us. It's all the tools and the support and the training. It starts with our website here. This is where you want to start if you haven't been there, absystems.com. Just a couple of screenshots from the website itself. So our business is a very minimal downside with maximum training and support. And we have the fastest proven way to start your medical billing business. And it's proven by all you have to do is go to our YouTube channel, and you can see the hundreds of interviews and testimonials that we've collected over the years from people just like you that were looking at this, didn't know what they wanted to do with their life, and they started their business with us, and they're super successful now. So as you can see, it's an all-inclusive investment of $28,990. So that's the fee. I've got some news related to that pricing here in just a moment that we're going to share towards the end of this, but that's what it is right now. A one-time investment of $28,990. And nothing else on the back end at all. No royalty fees, no support fees, none of that stuff. Okay. So you get all kinds of different software platforms available to you. All of the services that I've been mentioning. You get several thousand marketing pieces where we actually print your name and logo. See, that's the other big difference with us and franchises is we help you set up your own business entity. And so you are truly operating as an independent business owner with your own company. It's just that you're able to market our branded products and services as your own. And of course, you're leaning on our support team for any kind of marketing or technical assistance that you might need. So it's pretty cool. You also get a website, which I'll talk about. So this is our iClaim system. This is a medical claim filing. If you go to our website later, you can scroll down on this page and you can see all the other services, and there's a description of all the services and such. But this is the primary billing service / platform that you'll be using. We call it iClaim. Now it's a rebranded version of a very, very well-known system, well-respected system, which I'm going to talk about in a moment. This is also the medical records portion. So we call it EMRX. So this is the portion that the doctors use. So instead of, the clipboards they used to use, and, back in the old days, some of them still use that, believe it or not, but this is where they're using a laptop or an iPad or something like that in the exam room. So we have a built-in medical records platform that the doctors can use. Very, very cool. Totally integrated into the billing practice management system. So here's another question. Well, how are changes in healthcare in the healthcare industry making it easier for anyone to get involved? Well, it all goes back to the software systems that I've been talking about. Okay. So these systems, being truly cloud-based, they are able to be constantly updated behind the scenes. And as you can see with that little logo up there, the iClaim system is powered by NextGen. So if you want to do a little detective work, you could Google NextGen Office. That's the system that this is, basically. We're a white labeled version of NextGen Office. But if you go to, I think it's softwareadvice.com, and there's a couple of other rating sites, you can actually type in NextGen Office, and you'll see that it's very highly rated, very well respected in the industry. So what we do is we are able to update the system constantly. So every night we're doing updates to the system. We're doing backups for you. All of the kind of old school stuff that people had to do on their own, like backups and updating and downloading updates, installing updates. You have to do none of that. Same goes for the coding database. Okay, so there are certain codes that doctors have to select for the diagnosis of the patient and any kind of treatments that they do for the patient. And that database gets updated, I believe it's once a year. And so we're on version 10, ICD-10 is what it's called. And every time there's an update to that, it's automatically installed into the platform without anybody having to do anything or think about it. So that means every morning that when you log in, and every morning when the doctors log in, they have the latest, greatest version of all the codes. Anytime the government comes out with some kind of new payment model, or they start saying, well, now you got to do it this way instead of this way. And, they try to trip doctors up. It feels like they're doing it on purpose. They're changing the way that they have to treat patients, and, all kinds of different hoops they have to jump through to get paid. Well, every single time that they do that and try to make changes to how the process works, we have already updated our system well in advance of their timelines. Like a lot of times they'll make a big announcement, hey, there's a big change coming up with how you do things, and it's coming, in 6 months from now, it's going to be blah, 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 blah. And we already updated our system well in advance of that timeline so that you already know what's going on and how to do it the new way. So anyway, hope that makes sense, but that's part of the big reason why more and more people can get into this without having to know a whole heck of a lot about the industry. A lot of products and services that I've been mentioning. These are some postcards. You get flyers and postcards and all kinds of stuff in your business package. But these are some of the other services that we've got. We've got a dental package for dental billing. We've got a way for patients to pay what they owe, through automated payment plans. We've got a collection service, a compliancy service, credentialing. AutoCard is a marketing program that actually sends postcards and things in the mail. There's a Medicare audit protection service called Audit Guard, and then virtual care. That's a really cool one. So if any of you guys have heard of course, you've heard of telemedicine or e-visits. I think probably you've heard of that since COVID, but this is different. This is actually a full-blown remote patient monitoring platform. So we actually have a company that can help set up a practice so that they can treat patients through remote patient monitoring, which means the patient is at home and we are able to monitor all their different vitals and things, blood pressure, glucose, weight, things like that, where there's actual smart connected devices in the patient's hands at their house that they can track. And we have staff that do all of the recording of those vitals and information on behalf of the practice. So the doctor doesn't have to hire any new people. They don't have to do anything other than just let us set it up. And then, of course, they they meet with the patients online. So anyway, that's a really cool one. You can read about that. Pretty big moneymaker for you. You can read about that in our research guide that I mentioned. I guess I'm doing a pretty good job. I don't see any other questions coming in. If you think of anything, let me know. All right, so just one more quick screenshot here of the flyer. So I showed you the postcard. This is a kind of a tiny picture. You can't really see that, but you get several thousand flyers as well that you can use as marketing pieces. You get some really nice presentation folders that we have for you that talks about revenue cycle on the front, and you can put your some flyers in there with your proposal that we help you with your business card, and it's just a very, very nice looking package that really, you know, that's another key thing is we have spent thousands and thousands of dollars producing these really professional looking marketing materials. And, you know, if you look at what it would cost to create some of this stuff on your own, I mean, it would just be a crazy amount of money. And this is all included in your package. And like I said, we customize these. So when you do get your logo and everything picked out, we print that on all of these marketing pieces. We actually put your logo on the website template that you get a free website. So you look so professional compared to all these other little mom and pops. There's no competition. I mean, you're really blowing them away because they don't have anything like ABS to help them, you know, craft and spend a lot of money on these like professionally designed materials. So let's see, we do have a comment here. Claudine is saying, are we able to get funding to start our own business if we don't have the needs to pay out of pocket in full? Claudine, that's a good question. You know, there's a lot that depends on you and your credit score and that sort of thing. We don't do any financing. ABS doesn't do any financing, so it does have to be paid to us in full, the $28,990. We work with a company called Fran Fund, F-R-A-N, Fran Fund. They have worked with several of our owners to provide them with loans for the business. You have to have a really good credit score. It's got to be like 710, 720 plus, and you have to have, you know, a job and things that you can prove that you've got income and stuff like that. So, and the rates, just like anywhere else, the rates have gone up, unfortunately. So if that is the case where you've got a good credit score and you want an introduction there, we can certainly make that. So just get back with us and let us know on that. Other than that, a lot of people, you know, they've got some of the money saved up. They borrow money from friends or family. They put some of it on credit cards. So we have people that put the entire thing on a couple of different credit cards, believe it or not. So you really just have to weigh, you know, is this worth, you know, trying to invest in that way or not? You know, it's not for everybody. You'll just have to try to figure that out. So I hope that answers your question, Claudine. Let's see. So let's go to this other screenshot here. So this is a screenshot of one of 8 different website templates that you get. So I mentioned that you get a free website and we take your name and logo and print it on, we put it on the website. We don't print it. We put it on the website for you. There's several different templates that you can choose. So that's cool because as you can see, they're very professional looking. All of the services are described on there and how they work. And we work towards getting someone to click on a button to fill out to get a free practice analysis. That's what you're going to be offering to people on your website and in person, is you're going to be offering a free practice analysis to help doctors figure out what's really going on and where their money is going and how they can save money. So that's what we do. We also have a private support website. So this is another thing that there's very, very large franchises, much bigger than us, that don't even have something at all like this. So we have a private support website. We call it the licensee support site, the LSS. And you'll get a lifetime login to this site. And you can see those little navigation buttons up there. Every single aspect of the business is laid out for you on this support site. So every one of those different links has links to documentation and webinars and training and all kinds of things. We have hundreds of hours of continuing education and support on this site that you have access to 24/7, in addition to our live support team, of course. So that's pretty handy. I mentioned to you Dr. Vicky earlier. This is the book that we co-authored together. So there's a picture of her and there's a picture of the book there. Now, this book, this is the one I wanted to talk about. So this is the one that we've actually been using to great success here in over the past year or so. The New Thriving Medical Practice. So this is another book that helps doctors figure out what the heck is going on in their practice and make changes so that they can start making more money and see more successes. So what we do with this book is we actually customize the book with your name on the front. And so I think we might have a special guest on the webinar here if he wants to jump in.
Yeah, Adam.
Hey,
Hi,
Patrick,
son. How you doing? Hey, it's a great webinar so far. I just thought I'd be kind of lurking in the background here for a few minutes before I jumped in here. But yeah, I'm here. That's my book. Yeah.
There it is. There it is. Yeah, I was just about to tell everybody. Thanks for popping in here. That was a surprise. So I was just about to tell everybody this is a book that you wrote with Vicky Ragner. You co-wrote with her. And what's really cool is we actually will customize this book with the licensee's name printed on the front. And we basically put that they are the author of the foreword of the book. So we have a foreword, as you can see there. It's kind of hard to read, but and what's really cool is it gives the doctors a little introduction to the book. And then we also show you how to highlight and bookmark just certain sections of this book, because we know doctors have very limited time, right? So we can show you how to highlight certain areas of the book that are just going to like, excuse me, they're going to point to, certain things regarding the revenue cycle that's important, and just kind of help them, get the gist of it without having to read the whole thing is what it is. And so we have actually had doctors that have thought that our owners have written this book. We had a lady in California. She said, yeah, I gave out 3 of these books. And one of them called me back and said, Jennifer, I loved your book. It was so insightful. And she said, no, I didn't write that. It was written by some other people. But anyway, she ended up signing 3 clients with those 3 books that she gave out, because what you're doing is you are setting yourself apart by positioning yourself as an expert in the industry and someone who is truly there to help the doctors without expectation of anything in return. So you're giving this to them as a free gift. Here, this is my gift to you. And if you have trouble implementing any of this stuff, of course, I'm here to help. But this book can help you by itself without having to do business with me. So
yeah, Adam, I don't know of any other franchise out there that has $100,000 investment that provides something like this. This is huge credibility for people who, again, you're just starting and opening a brand new office in their community. So you can position yourself as being a part of the nation's largest network of independent medical billing companies, and give them that book as a gift. It only costs our licensees about, I don't know, what is it, $4 or something per copy, and yet if the doctor goes out to Amazon, it's like, I don't know, 20 something. Mm-hmm. But the point is that all of a sudden you've tied yourself in by putting your name on the cover of that book as a part of this network and a part of Dr. Vicky Ragner, who helped us start the MIRMA organization. Yeah.
That's right. Yep. So that's been a very, very valuable marketing tool. We got a question from Andrea here. She says, how long does it usually take to get a first client? That's a great question. So again, this is another one with a lot of variables, but I can give you some averages. So the people that go through our training, first of all, the online training that I mentioned, that can take you a couple of weeks, maybe 2 or 3 weeks to finish. And once that's done, then you're able to start marketing the business and going, doing it as much as you can. And I say that because there are people that are able to do this full time right out of training, and market every day. There are other people who have a job that they can't quit. They'd like to quit, but they can't, and so they have to do this business part time. The people that are doing it full time, we are seeing them get signed contracts in a matter of months after the training. So it could be 3 months or so, if you're doing it full time. If you're doing it part time, obviously it's going to take you about twice that long. So you have to be prepared that it is going to be it is a process in the beginning to get your name out there and, build the trust with people so that they want to refer doctors to you. And of course, a process of educating the doctors on what's really going on in their practice and helping them understand that you're different from all the other billers out there. So that's why I say it's a process. So yeah, plan on that taking 3 months or so if you're doing it full time to get a first contract.
Yeah, but there have been licensees or business owners who've gotten those clients even working, uh, you know, full time, because we teach you how to network and do some other marketing outside the normal 9 to 5 hours. Uh, we had an instructor one time, Adam, you remember that she was working full time. She lined up some stuff and got it all ready to go, and then she wrote that famous letter to her boss that says, "You know what? I'm out of here."
Mm-hmm. That's right. Yeah, that's a good point. A lot of the marketing can be done in the off hours because we teach you how to get business mostly through networking and referrals and strategic partnerships and, partnering up with medical device salespeople and farmer reps and things like that. So you're really not out there looking for doctors in the beginning, which sounds kind of weird. What do you mean I'm not looking for doctors? You're looking for people who can put you in touch with doctors. That's the important.
Right.
So a lot of the things that we teach you is to network with people in other industries. And a lot of those networking events, it can be an early morning breakfast or a luncheon or things in the evenings, weekends, things like that. So it does work around a busy schedule. You can make it work. Yeah.
Yeah, because there's lots of people that go to those meetings that they know doctors. In fact, just ask your own family and friends, do you know any doctors? They all know a doctor, right? Because they all go to one probably. But some of them will actually tell you, yeah, I've seen them struggling there in the office trying to do their billing or complaining about people not paying, and that's our business. So all we want to do is connect with those people and make them friends and help them build trust in us. And then all of a sudden they're going to refer doctors to you.
Yeah, and in our training, we will teach you all the people that know doctors, realtors, CPAs, attorneys, financial planners, IT guys. There's a lot of industries that work with doctors, but they don't do what you can do. And those are the people that you want to meet.
Right.
Yeah. So
okay, so Adam,
yeah.
This is a question for you. I'm going to ask you, since you're the CEO of the company now and have been for several years, where do you see ABS in the future?
I'm glad you asked that. That is a great question. Well, what I'd like to see is I'd like to see about quadruple the number of little circle pictures that you see in this slide here.
Yeah.
Maybe even more than that. We have a lot of very happy, successful owners, and that's really the thing that keeps us going is hearing all of these amazing testimonials and success stories from all these people that you see here. These people are not clip art. These are real licensee business owners that we have that have done some interviews and webinars. And, it's just really great seeing people from all across the country be successful. And there's people in small rural towns that have been able to make this really successful. There's people in very large, like New York, for example, that are doing really well. So it really kind of doesn't matter where you are. It really works kind of wherever you are. But that's our goal, is to just continue putting people into business for themselves and helping them be able to change their own lives, but also be able to really have a big impact on the private practices. That's another benefit to what we're doing here is we really are affecting change in the private practice world. Like we've had some owners have been able to help doctors turn around their practice that thought they were going to have to close their doors because they weren't making any money and they didn't know why. And so that's just awesome hearing those stories, we're getting towards the end of this thing here. And I don't know if you have anything to add, but we do have a 30-day money back guarantee. So do you want to tell them about that one?
Yeah, I came up with this, as you know, Adam, a few years back. And you remember that you and the rest of the staff thought I was nuts and said, wait, you can't offer a franchise slash business opportunity, with a money back guarantee, because people could take all of your information that you give them during the training and steal it and, basically start their own. Uh, we've had that happen so rarely, Adam, I don't even remember the last time that happened. But the
Yeah.
fact is, folks, that we know what we have. And I said, look, if we really have an opportunity like we say we do, then let people decide that after they have seen our whole, let's just throw it all out there. And so when they go through that training, of course, they've got, 15 hours of our initial training stuff with our live instructors. And that will give them a good feel for what the business is all about. How is it to market? They can ask all the questions they want. And then if at the end of that 30 days, they still want their money back, we're willing to do that. And we have.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly right. Yeah. I like to tell people we let them see the good, the bad, and the ugly about this business. They get to see
Right.
behind the curtain.
Yeah. And no other company that I know of will do that, Adam. And that's a problem, because when you've sent a chunk of change, to invest a license fee to any company, once it's theirs, it's theirs. You're not going to see it again. But with us, we're willing to do that because, we know what we have.
Yeah, exactly. And almost always what we hear from people that graduate the training is they're blown away by the potential revenues with all the different services and everything. They really had no idea the potential of the business. So they're excited to jump in and go for it, So
yeah, usually the people in the past, the handful of folks that I can think of that asked for money back, they really had not researched it and done their due diligence. So I encourage everybody on this webinar, check it out, get all of our downloads and documents that we have, talk to some of our licensees. Adam will show you how to contact them here in a moment, and then, make that decision. But it still doesn't matter. I mean, if you still think, well, I think this is perfect for me, and you get into it and it's not, just ask for your money back and we'll wish you the best. There's lots of things to invest in out there.
Yep, that's right. Well, I did put that little side note down there at the bottom. Start your training ASAP. Why did I say that? Well, because we're going to have a price increase. That's right. Our package is going up January 1. Now, we are still in talks, aren't we, with the board on what the price will be. We're not quite sure what it's going to be. But it is going up January 1st. So if you are able to put any funds together to get this going, get your training going before the end of the year, you definitely want to do that. So if you
this is not a gimmick, folks. We're not trying to close you by saying, oh, the price is going up at the end of the year. It has, several times in the past, hadn't it, Adam, at the end of the year. We just do that because we add so many new offerings and services that you can offer. It's a more valuable package. So this year we added several things that could add several $1,000s to your revenue, and that's why it has to go up. I'd say $5,000-$10,000.
Wow.
No, I'm just kidding. That's not my decision, of course. I'm retired, but I have heard discussions about different prices. So I don't know what it'll be either. Adam doesn't, because the whole board has to vote on it, and they haven't finalized that. Probably won't until sometime towards the end of the year. But just a warning that when you hear after the first that it's gone up, just don't be surprised. That's just the way it is in business.
That's the way it is. Yep. Everything's going up.
Yep.
All right. Well, I've just got a few final slides here about the next steps. You're welcome.
Hey, I gotta run anyway, Adam. I just thought I'd pop in and say hi.
Okay. Good chatting with you, Dad. Thanks for joining.
Yeah, good job. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right, guys. Just a couple of final steps here. If you haven't been on one of these webinars, we have the research guide that I mentioned. There's another screenshot of that. I've mentioned YouTube several times. It's youtube.com/YABS. Definitely go check that out. Watch as many videos as you can, learn more. We have tons of videos out there on the YouTube channel. So there's a playlist, like you look for the playlist for testimonials, and that'll just kind of sort all the testimonials if you want to see those, the interviews and stuff. So that's a pretty cool playlist to check out. And then, of course, one thing we would like you to do is chat with some of our business owners. So we do have an owner reference list that you can request. We have tons of happy business owners that would be happy to chat with you about the opportunity. So request that if you'd like. There's some of those people right there that are on our reference list, as a matter of fact. We have live demos. I don't think I mentioned this, but we will do a live demo of our iClaim EMRX platform for you, just so that you can kind of see how it works, a day in the life of a licensee, how the doctors interact with the system, how the front office can interact with the system. So that's a really cool thing to do, is see a demo. So request that demo from one of your ABS reps. Let's see. And there's just kind of like some pictures of how the demo works. So the demo that we do for the doctors, as a matter of fact, is another thing I didn't mention, but we also do demos for your potential doctor clients. And so that's kind of what it looks like, is you guys are on your computer, our demo guy is up here with his 1987 headset on, and he's doing a demo, and the doctor's right here, and they're like blown away by the system. It looks so cool. Look, they're like, wow, look at that. All right. Purchase agreement. We do have a purchase agreement. It's nothing like a franchise agreement. If you've seen any of those that are like 7,000 pages long, ours is only 5. I think it's 5 pages long now. So very, very light. We don't have any control. You can do anything you want with this business. You can do all the work yourself or not. You can work from home or not. You can work your own hours. Very flexible business. But there's the purchase agreement. We can send that to you to review if you want. And then finally, funding and training. Once you have your funding secured, you just fill out the agreement. We have an e-sign agreement that you sign, and you pay the funding however you want to, cashier's check, wire, credit cards, whatever. And then we can usually have your training start that same week that we get your paperwork done. So it can start very, very quickly after that happens. There's people that are doing our training right there. So there you go. That's it. Well, thank you guys for taking time out of your busy holiday week to join me. We do these every week. So please, if you want to sign up for next week, feel free to do that every Wednesday at 4 o'clock. Thank you for joining me. And yeah, we will see you next time, hopefully. Have a good night, everybody.